I had to remind her that I asked her to come, that she needs to calm down, stay focused, and then so we can work through this.
Really get in their shoes, really try to understand, the way they're seeing the situation, the way.
She immediately jumped and she got into it, and she was firm.
I'm responsible for that vision. I'm responsible to make that vision happen.
Be ready to change yourself. Be ready to challenge your better self. Know that your mind can develop a passionate winning spirit, but not by yourself. We guarantee your family in love with your life, and you're gonna love all the grind. Lewis and Barish together, we develop your mindset with vitamin C for your mind. Don't you settle with what you know. There's much to learn, there's much to earn. Tell yourself I'm ready to fight, ready to be heard. Out of success and awakening rise. There's so many words that turn into prices. Be ready to change for the best. Step up and be great. Don't be like the rest. Develop your mindset.
Hi everyone, this is number 52 podcast, Develop Your Mindset. My name is Varush Kachikian, and we're going to be starting.
And my name is Louis, and I'm ready to start.
All right, me and Louis, we do this every week. We have every Saturday the podcast goes live, and we do this always on Saturdays. We usually, what happens is we talk about what happens in the company. We are a jewelry company, Kabartsi, and we are designer and master jewelers here. We have a company, we design everything. If you guys have a chance, please visit the website Kabartsi, and we will have a link down below to see what the company is about. Basically, whatever happens in the company, we sit and we talk about in depth what we learned, how we handle the situation, what was the highlight of the week, and a lot of things happen here, right? So we have clients coming in, we have employees coming in, and we have all kinds of stuff happening here. But like something happened this week that trumps the rest of the stuff that happened, which is a client. We had a client wasn't very happy. We had a unhappy client this week because she was worried about not only her orders but also creating the new designs and advancing the company. So we do not stay behind and stagnant. So we're going to be talking about this because this is very important. We want to talk about like we are talking to ourselves or someone actually talking to us, letting us know that what we did right or wrong, what can we do for next time.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. Another episode, another podcast, number 52, right? 52. Yeah, 52. Yeah, so definitely a very intense week, very emotional, especially for Varush here. But I can definitely relate, to the topic of today, and I'm excited and I'm very ready to give my insights. Well, the two of us, and can't wait. Let's get started.
Let's get started. So number one question. I wrote down all these questions. I sat down and I was thinking about what has happened. I put myself into my client's space, place, shoes, however you want to see it. And I was asking basically Varush, like if you in my shoes, in my place, what do you think, like what's going on? How am I supposed to feel? That kind of questions. And I've been thinking very, very long and came to conclusions, and I have a clear understanding what occurred. And I sat down and I wrote all these questions because these are stuff that we if we do all this correctly, we do it good, we're gonna advance, we're gonna become better company, better individuals, we're gonna do everything better. So number one question, I think what happened is stay focused through adversity, right? Oh, yeah, it is. We're starting there. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the
okay.
thing I read. So stay focused through adversity and work towards the bigger vision. Do not be lazy towards what is important. So obviously I wasn't lazy. I'm never lazy. I work very, very hard. But sometimes we work hard towards something that we could be putting a little bit of energy, like looking how we're gonna do things in order, a little bit better. We're always trying to be better. And at this point, I wasn't. I was not better. I was too focused on finishing what I had to finish. And when the time came, all the promises were not fulfilled. So I wasn't focused, and I need to get back to focus. What I need to do, we're gonna be talking about things about how we can get focused and what we can do to be more focused. Adversity, a lot of things happening, right? A lot of work, a lot of promises, a lot of invoices, and a lot of work goes bad, wrong, and we have to go back and fix it because everything we do is designing. Everything is handmade. When you have your hands on something, like they don't go perfect all the time. They need a little bit of attention. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a work, if it's a family, if it's a baby you're raising, if it's a kid, if it's a pet, things could go not your way sometimes. The bigger vision, do not be lazy. So you have to go towards the bigger vision. Bigger vision is to advance your client. By doing that, you're advancing your company. Basically, last 5 months I've been pushing, pulling, advancing my clients, and they are very excited. They are advancing. And now I found myself in a situation where we don't have the manpower to finish what we created, how much I advanced them. So just recently we hired one person. Now we must hire one more person because now we're falling behind. All the effort that I put, now I have to put effort on hiring new people, training them, and making sure that this thing's gonna get done. So you see, sometimes it's like it's out of your hand. Like you have to create this first, then you can come back and create this. But in between, there is this craziness happening, right? So this was one of those things, and basically, I was talking to you or to whom I don't remember yesterday, but I was saying that you have to have just this big heart, this big understanding where you have to handle the situation. Sometimes it gets heavy and you have to know how to handle it. So thank God I'm good at that. I did it, but now it's time to go.
Yeah.
Start training and hiring.
Nice. Yeah, so definitely, like, anytime you pick a new vision, there's going to be a lot of adversities, and you pretty much have to be ready. You can't just assume that whatever vision you choose to pick is just going to be smooth and easy and nothing's going to happen along the way. There's always going to be some sort of challenge, some sort of adversity, whether sometimes it's a direct result of your actions, and sometimes it just happens. Like, it just happens. It's out of your control. It's just very random. But adversities will always present themselves, and you have to know how to deal with those in a way where it's very action driven. Like, you're actually going to take some action to deal with those adversities, as opposed to just settling and postponing those adversities and trying to suppress them and put them aside. Really don't be lazy with that. And because if you do have an adversity, what you really want to do is deal with that adversity by taking some sort of action. You have to do something. Don't just stagnate. Don't just stay complacent. Don't just stay scared or wherever it is that you're currently at. You have to take some sort of action. And so, because the vision itself is the one that really matters, and so you facing an adversity is really you making progress, you advancing, moving forward. And that's really what really makes a very strong leader. And I'm pretty sure you're a leader if you're watching this video, and we're going to go over leadership a little bit more down later in the podcast. But just understand that, you have to be a leader, you have to take action, and, not just for yourself so that your vision gets accomplished, but also for your team. Your team will like to see that, whoever you're working with, they want to see that you're taking action, that you're going somewhere, that you're doing something about the adversities. They don't want to see somebody who's a leader, who has the role of a leader, but is not taking action, and instead is just not doing their job right, because then those are the leaders that eventually are going to fall, and their entire team is just going to walk away, or they're just not going to be very happy to really work with you. So definitely don't be lazy with that stuff. Stay focused and deal with the adversities as they come.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, don't be too complacent. There's no stories, no.
Yeah.
You just have to go. You just have to make it happen. Yeah. If you guys are familiar with Dan Pena, I have it on my phone. Dan Pena says just fucking do it. So you just have to do it, I guess. Yeah. When you have a client or individual, doesn't matter, who has a spike personality, you immediately must shift down, calm down, and be very selective by protecting their interest and your company's interest. Okay, so right here I said a lot. Basically, right here where shit hits the fan, and you have to stay focused, stay calm. It doesn't matter how shitty it looks. You just have to use words, calming words, collective, and your heartbeat has to stay down. Your energy cannot spike. That could cause by in itself a situation where it's not a good one. So I'm gonna go through this line and break down for you guys what happened in this personality spike. So basically, client or individual comes in, husband, wife, kid, client, neighbor, something happens. We all go through this, always, all the time, especially when it matters more than other things. Basically, there is another word for it, where when it's you don't want to lose, you want to be stay in that team. Basically, that's you have to pay attention to the spike of personality. A lot of people just go from 1, 2 all the way to the 10. So you have to take what I did. I took the control in my hand, and I spoke to my client. I said, initially I asked her to come here because I knew this was coming. So when she came, she found out what was going on. Immediately she went to number 10. I had to remind her that I asked her to come, that she needs to calm down, stay focused, and then so we can work through this quirks and what needs to be done. So if you see what happened, I took the initiative, and I took her back down to number 5, and then I made her sit down. So next what happened was immediately must shift. So basically I shifted immediately, and that's what I did. Calm down and be very selective by protecting. Basically, I spoke to her, to the client, that this matters to me as much as it matters to you. I protected her interest, and then I reminded her interest is my interest, and it's got we have to come to a on the same level and work together so we can make this thing work for both of us, for both companies, basically, and your company's interest. So I made sure that our both companies' interest is to finish these products and make them, come perfect, nice, beautiful, and in the time that it's been promised and said. So this is the whole situation. This is happening in about 3 minutes time. So you don't have a lot of time to think which way you're gonna say it, that it's gonna come out a little bit better. It's a de-escalating situation on my hands, and I gotta de-escalate it very, very quickly, very fast, very by feeling energy. I'm feeding over through the energy, and I'm de-escalating the situation. While I'm doing it, I'm not going visiting back to what was said. I was just eliminating situations, so I can come down to the core and actually have less to work with, because there's no point talking about the same thing over again. You might cause another situation. So I was it's very delicate, so I was able to really take the control on my hands, and was able to accomplish this. And I hope this is enough for you guys to understand how you can de-escalate this kind of situation, where especially afterwards you don't want to have any regrets, because this is something that it's very important for me too. So something important, I don't want to mess it up, I want to fix it. So by me staying calm, I was able to go through this adversity.
Yeah, so definitely I think the first step that Varish took here was very, very important, which is to empathize with the other individual first, really get in their shoes, really try to understand, the way they're seeing the situation, the way that, their mind is working. Because you see, for the most part, when somebody spikes up like that, their personality is very spiked. They're just their emotions are very elevated, and at that point, you could even say that they've almost lost control a little bit of their emotions. Their emotions are starting to take over their personality and who they are as a person. So you have to be very empathetic as to that, because that really actually happens to all of us. And if it hasn't happened to you, that means you haven't you haven't been out there as much, or you just haven't you've been fortunate enough to not have been through a situation where your emotions were triggered to such a degree where you just felt like your emotions were really, really elevated. But definitely have empathy for that other individual first, before you do anything. Try to understand, listen to that other individual, see what the situation is, what's going on. And then definitely, once you understand that, sure, at that point you have to empathize, and you have to try to bring the entire situation to de-escalate, like you said. So try to bring it down, try to bring whether that's through words, that's through energy, or a combination of both. You use the right words, you use the right energy, you use a more softer, calmer voice, and you really try to explain to the other person, maybe reiterate the same things that they've said back to you, just so that they know that you understand, what they're trying to say here. And you're letting them know, like, hey, it's okay, I got you, we're in the same team here. And that's really where like he was saying, you try to find a place where you guys are finding common ground, really, where you guys are trying to come to those to terms where you both understand yourselves, and you both understand you guys are working on the same team, and you're both are aware of what your guys' interests are. But at the same time, like you said, your interest is my interest, and we're on the same team. We're moving forward. We're both moving towards the same direction here. We both have the same goals here. And so, let the other person know that you're not the enemy, but you're a companion, you're a friend, you're a partner in this, and you're there to help, you're there to assist, you're there to service. And so definitely that's exactly how you want to approach it. And then, finally, once you're able to really do that, then really do provide whatever service, whatever it is that you can do for that other individual. And I think I think the way Varos here explained it, I think that was a very good way to handle the situation, and I think he did the right thing. And eventually, I saw this in person, and I saw how everything really went from up there to down here, and everything was good. Everything was everything looked pretty calm by the end of it. And yeah, I mean, at that point, but it takes a lot of, like you said, pretty sure it wasn't easy for him. It's definitely a complicated situation, and it's definitely something that will take you a couple of years of practice, I would say, to deal with this over and over and over again until you really get it to a point where you're able to deal with these situations in a very productive way, in a way where it's very efficient, and the two of you can really move forward, despite what has gone on.
You just reminded me of how I can explain everything you said. Basically, in one more few words, one more time, forgive, but don't forget. A lot of things gonna happen when you try to do something bigger than where you are at that time, and there's gonna be some things that you're not gonna like. Eventually, you're gonna forgive that person, forgive, but don't forget, because you don't want to recreate that emotion again, that situation again. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
Next is, it is a good idea to have conversation with the people who matter, or employees, or before something occurs. Always be ready for a hair-triggered notice to take control of a situation by becoming smart and educated with words. All right, so again, we got a lot here going. Basically, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was coming. I could feel it. It was my nerves start vibrating. I could feel this was coming. So I took a little bit time. I spent about hour and a half or more talking to the third person that is important in this dynamic, and I ensured her that I'm going to be there, but this is how it's going to end. This is approximately where it's going to spike. This person was already ready to come back, or to help the situation, to diffuse the situation. And when it happened, she immediately jumped, and she got into it, and she was firm, and was able to really make sense when she said something, because she was, you can't say she was trained, but she was informed that this was about to come, and so basically a lot of times we know before something happens. By being lazy, we don't prepare ourselves for it. So basically, don't be lazy. Be on hands. Be going. If you do this already, good for you. If you don't, this is how you're gonna do this. You're gonna calm down. You're gonna think of different scenarios, and there's not too many scenarios anyways. This could go only one direction, and that's exactly that was the direction it went. If you don't understand, you better have a few good friends out there, or teachers, or coach, or something that you could talk to, that they can help you to understand what can happen. So if you don't, get busy with that. If you do, then you have to utilize these people. Ask them, this is the situation, what can happen. So me calling the client in, me preparing the number 3 person, and I am ready. It wasn't easy, but it was durable. So we were able to do this in a nice, calm manner, and becoming back to the center, where everybody in the end was smiling, laughing, making jokes, and it's very crucial. Nothing happens in one day. We put a lot of effort into building stuff, things, futures, and you don't want to break it. It's not fun. I've done it many times. A lot of times, just to come out of it and then rebuild something, it's a year and a half. So you don't want to do that. Next, be ready for a hair trigger notice to take control of a situation. I mean, like when number 3 person was talking, I'm like, my finger is on the trigger. Any moment, I'm gonna get up and take over. And thank God, everything went well. I didn't have to do that, but previously I had to, and that's something you have to be ready. If it's not your place, don't go in. Let the number 3 person talk. Become smart and educated with words. Again, forgive and don't forget. Don't forget is the words also. Last time what I spoke, 5 years ago what I spoke, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, these things always happening. Don't forget, if you have memory problems, start writing stuff down and just have a diary or something. Or what is the other thing? Not diary, but
journal.
Journal. Have a journal. Write these things down. I had a journal. If I go back and read, I can read all kinds of business, work, life scenarios. It's all in there. I can go today and read 6 years ago what I said, what happened, and I already know the outcome of that time, what happened. So yes, become smart and educate with words. So I think that's it.
Yeah, so definitely if you're like in a business environment and a situation like that arises, I think it's very important that you inform whoever's going to be involved, whoever's going to be part of the entire situation there, to be informed as to what's coming and what's going to happen. And so that's a very good way to take on your leadership role and really go and inform those people as to what's going to happen. That way they're prepared and they're able to, help you out, and, everything feels like, it's all part of a team here. So, make sure that everybody is of course, going in the same direction. And definitely, extremely important to always be ready. And like you said, don't be lazy. If you have the opportunity to prepare beforehand, make sure you do it. Don't procrastinate, because preparing yourself ahead of time is definitely going to make a difference, down the line. It's really going to produce a much more efficient, a much more productive result, as opposed to when you don't prepare and you sort of leave it up to faith and just random. And at that point, you're going to get a random result, and it may not be the result that you're looking for. So if you have a result, if you have a vision, you have a purpose, make sure that you prepare ahead of time. That way, whatever you prepare, it's most likely going to get you the result that you want. So definitely there's that. And of course, for the second thing here, about becoming smart with words, definitely words are extremely important. It's definitely important that you educate yourself how to communicate properly and which words to use to communicate a specific message. But of course, it's also very, very important that you're able to listen. That way you're able to collect data and you're informed as to how the other person is also feeling, because you don't just want to look after your own interest and use the words that are going to benefit only you, but you do want to use the words that are going to make it more of a win-win situation, where the two of you are gonna actually feel like you guys are both winning as to whatever situation it is. So definitely make sure you're very, very good at listening. That way you're able to collect the necessary data. And of course, once you collect the data, you need to know what to do with that data. And that's why you have to learn words. That way you're able to take action with that information that you have. That way the situation and whoever it is that you're working with, you guys are both able to continue working, and it's a very good business relationship and a personal relationship. Both of those continue going and moving forward.
Yeah, I want to add about words. So words are magic. Earlier I was saying, when we did the Instagram live, I was saying words could bring snake out of its hole. Sweet words could bring snake out of its hole. So what does that mean? That means snake is not coming out of the hole. If it, you know, and with speaking very calmly, nicely, in you know, making sense, you can make someone to ease back to you and tries to listen, you know. And you need to continue. You have to use words that it's not threatening or offensive. You have to find the balance. Words are magic, don't forget. With magic you can make people really smile and laugh and be happy instead of you know, not doing not the right thing. So be careful with words, very important. Next, if you love what you do, you have to protect it with your leadership. Now, leadership is very important. There's a lot of loners out there where they accomplish small time, because you know what, by yourself you cannot do big things. If you want to do things bigger than you need a team. So when you have a team, you have to have a leadership. What is leadership? You know, it's becoming their friend, and you're holding them accountable same time. Yeah, there are a lot of courses out there, leadership courses. If you guys are not good in it, you can go and take one. It's perfectly normal. There are a lot of books out there. You can read about leadership. You can learn about what you know. Put yourself in those words that you're gonna read, and then understand where you are, how much you know, how much you need to learn. It's very important to be a leader, and if you love what you do, you have to protect it. So it's you can go back and recreate something that you started, but you know what? Why don't you keep what you have and work on it, and then slowly shift it to where you want it to go? Because we always talk about here, you know, Develop Your Mindset podcast, that we have to have a vision. We have to have a target. You need to stay focused on your target and vision no matter what happens. So if your target is you know, you're gonna have 40 employee and $10 million, if something you're doing that it's not correlating with that target and vision, then you probably don't want to do that anymore. But if you did something that it helped you to go 1 inch forward, 1 foot forward, you probably want to do more of that until it's not effective anymore. So if you love what you do, you have vision, you have goal, keep on doing it. And then leadership is very important. You have to play leadership. You have to have leadership role, and just make sure that that ship that you're running it, let it go to the harbor that you are going towards to. So yeah, I mean, otherwise the ship's going to be roaming around the seas and not going to get to the destination.
Yeah, so I think part of really assuming your role as a leader and really having really great leadership is to first really accept responsibility and really, you know, as a leader, make yourself responsible for, you know, whatever it is that you're going after. So become responsible for the vision that you're envisioning. So whatever vision you have, make sure that you're the one who's like, you know, I'm responsible for that vision. I'm responsible to make that vision happen. If that vision does not happen, that's my fault. And so because of that, because you're responsible for it, you're the one who's going to have to be taking most of the decisions, most of the action, and you're going to have to be guiding whoever it is that's helping you out as well in order to get there. So whether that's your team or, you know, whoever it is that you're working with, you're responsible. You're responsible for them. You're responsible for yourself. And so that's really what the leader really is all about, is to have somebody who's willing to take responsibility. And of course, you know, like you said, make your team accountable and make them aware of what's going on, making them aware of the vision, and really understanding them as well, so becoming friends with them, like you said, and really understanding who you're working with, and understand as well, who they are at the core, who are they as a person, and what are their passions, what are their ambitions, because you always want to align those with, whatever your vision is, because you see people work the best when they're doing something that they love. And so once you're able to connect what they love to your vision, and they feel like they're making progress, because that's another thing that people really love to do, is to work with something that they love and at the same time make progress in whatever it is that they love to do. Once that's happening, once you're able to get that from your whoever it is that you're working with, then it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get to your vision really, really quick. And so you really have to assume that as your leadership role. And so, yes, leadership doesn't come natural for some people. So definitely, like you said, there's some courses, there's books, there's a lot of education you can get out there as far as learning the techniques and stuff like that, as far as how you can be a much better leader, because it's definitely going to help you out. And it's definitely something that you have to learn if you have a vision and you want to protect it, because like I said, it's all about responsibility, taking action, and really making sure that everything that has to get done actually gets done. And in order for that to happen, you have to be responsible for whatever that has to get done. So definitely
don't stop, develop your mindset always. Dream and the target are more important than your feelings. Ignore them and work towards your goals. Once you have control of the situation, you have to jump immediately into advancement. Now, again, we have a lot here, but this is this can occur in 2 minutes, but you have to have sharp mind, sharp tongue, and you have to be careful what you're saying. When to turn back is very crucial, very important with your words. So basically, the dream and the target are more important than your feelings. If your feelings are hurt, don't worry about it. That's not gonna put money in your pocket, okay? Your dream is gonna put money in the pocket, and the target that you're going to, there is more money over there for you. And I'm saying money because money we can count. It's a number. It's not about money. It could be something else. It doesn't matter. It could be you're fishing, right? There's more fish over there. Anything. It's more important than your feelings. Don't worry how you feel. Just do it. Ignore them and work towards your goals. Goal is such an important thing. You guys don't, I didn't understand this. Now that I do, I only think about the goals. Every time I achieve them, I push myself. Next goal is a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit faster. So once you have control of the situation, you have to jump immediately into advancement. Now, when I had that situation going this week, as soon as I realized that I had the upper hand, the control of the situation, I was able to refocus the two people that I had important that I was dealing with immediately into advancement. What is advancement? Models, designs, ideas, work, potential, lots of orders, and everything like that for the company, for us, what we're working towards, struggling for. And I was able to remind them this idea, that idea, this design, what are we going to do with this idea, how we can do it better, what is the best way to do this to be able to bring in more orders, then how are we going to do it, the time, this one takes too much time, how about we do this? And it's the metrics. You just go through numbers and through hours and minutes. Since we don't have a lot of time to lose, we have to what is the word, like create or to achieve all these designs and finishings with its time that makes sense, that we don't lose or we gain in the end money from what we're working towards. So I mean, this was what I explained here. It's a business. It's a box. I didn't explain out of the box. I think Luis is gonna be able to touch that a little bit.
All right, so the dream and the target. So definitely, pretty much any journey that you choose to pursue, there's going to be a lot of, like we spoke previously in the podcast, there's going to be a lot of adversities, a lot of challenges, a lot of things that are going to go wrong, and so your feelings are going to be all over the place sometimes, and sometimes depending on how much experience you have, some situations are going to affect you more than others, and so naturally you're going to feel like sometimes you're just out of control. You don't know what to do. Your emotions are very spiked, like we spoke previously about this other individual, and so you're just gonna start to lose it a little bit, and so those feelings may be provoking you thoughts of wanting to just quit, or maybe take it a little bit easier, or not wanting to move forward, maybe stay in a comfort zone, maybe you just want to settle down, be complacent, be lazy, and stuff like that, So there's going to be a lot of thoughts, there are going to be a lot of thoughts like those that are going to be coming up to your mind, because your feelings are, they're being shattered. Maybe they're just not feeling well. Yeah, they're bruised up, they're taking a beating, and so immediately what you want to do, impulsively, what you want to do is make those feelings go away, like impulsively. That's really the first thing you would want to do,
I agree.
But you really have to stop yourself, and you have to tell yourself, like, what's more important, to really stop those feelings, like take some sort of action to stop those feelings now, or put those feelings aside and continue doing what I have to do anyway, and you really trust that those feelings are just going to go away on their own, because they are going to go away on their own. Emotions themselves are not permanent. They're just not going to last. No matter what emotion you're feeling, no emotion is permanent. If you could choose an emotion to be permanent, I mean, everybody would be happy all the time. If you could, just keep the emotion of being happy all the time, you could just be happy all the time. But you just can't. Even the negative emotions, they're going to go away eventually, no matter what. So you have to understand that and trust that they will go away, and then go and take whatever action that you were going to do anyway. So make sure that you always follow your dream, your target, your plan, your strategy. Always follow that. That's really what's going to get you the results, not you trying to numb your feelings and trying to control your feelings, because that's not part of the journey. That's not part of the strategy here to want to do that. And so, yeah.
All right. Next, earlier I said about this very important: get a book or a piece of paper and organize yourself on how to finish your work. Basically, if I was doing this, what I just said a week ago, I could have had better outcome, or maybe like never even got to this point. Sometimes you get really, really busy, and then you just start doing and doing and doing, and you're not doing the whole together. You're focused on one aspect of it, and sometimes you're getting stressed. You're coming back next day trying to fix that problem and everything. Next thing you know, the weeks is gone, and you haven't done what you promised that you were gonna do. So in order this won't happen, you have to have some kind of little notebook, or just piece of paper would do it too, just write down the stuff that you need to do, and write down the date and stuff. And I didn't do it, not this time, and it's caused me to go through this playing this word game and just like all this craziness, but I will be doing this again one more time. Next time I will be having a piece of paper or a notebook and write everything down, organize myself, try to follow my what I wrote, whatever I created. Basically, if I have to put more time, or like I want to make everyone work a little longer, whatever, to finish my promises, I will do whatever it takes. So we want to do whatever it takes. Now that we had to go through this and know what we're gonna do, basically next week is gonna be a little bit hectic. It's gonna be a bunch of more hours a day throughout the week, and we're gonna be able to finish it. But it's gonna be a little bit. I don't know. I love doing it. I'm not complaining, but I hope I can make the team stay on the high vibration and finish it like that next week. So hopefully this week everyone's taking a little bit of time off, doing the 4th of July, and today is 4th of July actually. Again, we started without saying 4th of July. Oh man, happy 4th of July everyone. And I hope everyone's relaxing, and then next week it's gonna be even better. So I can't wait.
Yeah, so getting a book or a piece of paper, definitely when you organize yourself, you're able to really finish a whole lot more work as opposed to just relying on your mind, because your mind is pretty powerful, sure, but it's very hard for it to remember so many things, especially if you're living like a really diverse life where you're doing a lot of things throughout your day. It's very hard to just keep track of what's getting done and what's not getting done if you're not actually writing it down, and you're not checking off things, and you're not making sure what is getting done and what has to get done. So like I think it's extremely important that you do that. I've personally done it once in a while here and there, but I haven't been quite consistent with it. But definitely, starting next week, I think I'm gonna start doing more of a consistent thing and actually start writing these things down. It's actually been on the back of my head for a little while, but now I think it's definitely time to make it a little bit more consistent, because every time that I've done it, it's actually really worked, and I've actually managed to get a lot of things done when I've actually taken the time to write them down. And it's actually pretty exciting because you have a list to follow, and you feel good once you're able to go through that list and you start to check off things and you start to say, yeah, I finished this, I finished that. And so there's a very good sense of satisfaction, and at the same time, you could build something called willpower along the way once you start to accomplish and hit those little things here and there. And, eventually, once you start to hit all those little mini goals here and there, you start checking off things on the list, you'll have this big sense of willpower that'll help you, do a very massive thing later on. And so that's really amazing how that really works. So definitely it's important, get a piece of paper, get something that's going to help you keep track of everything that you're currently doing right now.
Very good idea. I love it. I'm gonna do that too. Maybe we should remind each other. Be all you can be through servicing by loving you and your work. Now, be all you can be, it's one of the slogans for the army. Basically, go and become somebody special. Be always special. Like, be exceptional. Be all you can be. Throughout servicing by loving you and your work. So, if you love what you do, that's beautiful. And if you don't, then you need to either start loving what you're doing, because what you're doing is most important, or get the heck out of there and find something that you're gonna fall in love with. And your work is very important, because it brings pride, it brings happiness, it brings money, it brings knowledge through work. It brings friends, new friends. It brings a lot. It brings clients. It brings a lot. It brings traveling with work. Brings a lot of stuff, and on and on. So if you love what you're doing and you're working, you have to be all you can be, and just Basically, my way of saying, just do it good, just do it well, and just have fun. It's gonna be amazing. Life is amazing. I love what I do. Find something you love, start doing it, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, so definitely be all that you can be. I actually have that as my caption on Instagram. When you go to my bio, that's exactly what it says. And I've actually gone through a lot of captions there on Instagram, and that's the one I actually found to be the most powerful, the most inspiring, the most motivating. That's pretty much the one I use.
And I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the first thing it says when you go to my Instagram. That's the first thing that it says on my bio.
Nice.
And I've been changing it constantly, but once I hit that one, I was like, this is the one. I've kept it for quite a while now. And because it's true, really, like us humans, we're capable of doing really so much. And really, I don't think you should limit yourself or hold yourself back, or get stuck on one specific identity. If there's other things that you see and that you find interesting, and you feel like, that might be something that you want to do, why not go and give it a shot? Try it out. A lot of people feel like this is something like that it's weird or something, that you step out of like your identity and who you are as a person, and that you going and doing something that's really outside of your comfort zone is something that you shouldn't do, because like, oh, you're this type of person, like, why are you going to go and do that? But really, at the end of the day, if you like it, go and give it a shot. And that's really how you're going to end up really finding something that you love at the end of the day, because for some people, they get lucky and they find something that they really love to do at a very young age. And, that's you, that's great. But if you haven't still found something that you love yet, then go and experiment more. Go and try out more things, until you find that one thing that you love, and then go all in for that. But definitely, once you find something that you love, you providing your service, you providing your value is definitely going to be something that's going to be very natural. And you're really going to just find it very, very, very natural. You're going to love to just service your clients or service the people that you're working with. And it's just going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing experience for you and for, whoever's receiving the value of whatever it is that you're doing. And so definitely it's something very important to keep in mind.
All right. Now we know what is your Instagram is saying. It's important. I love that saying. Why you must have everything situated and organized. Basically, don't ignore. You have to have everything situated. The thing is, when I say don't ignore, that means like don't keep it to yourself. Every time you have to communicate. Communication is very important here. With the client, I was able to communicate. I was communicating the last 3-4 days before we hit to this adversity, this problem, and I was able to slowly turn it into the direction that I wanted it to go. So it wasn't easy, but it's very durable. But it takes a lot of back and forth, making an effort to take your phone and text and call and speak. It doesn't matter if you're having morning coffee, there's no excuse. You just stop and do it. It doesn't matter you're driving home, you're tired from work, you just call and do it in the car. You just keep that communication line open. Don't ignore. If you start ignoring it, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, it's not going to end up very good for you. The person on the other side, it's gonna have more ammunition to come to you and start firing at you. So in order to have the situation a little bit in control, don't ignore anything. Always be involved in every situation. Organize yourself in what's next. What if this? What if that? Like, if I don't do this, how it's gonna end up? Always ask yourself these questions, and you must have everything situated. If you don't, you have to have maybe assistant, and if you cannot afford assistant, you better have a notebook and keep this going until you can find one. Have one, or make enough money where you can afford to bring someone. and that's gonna be next to for you. Let's do it. And yeah, this week's joke, right? Let's do it.
Do it.
Do it.
So,
So yeah, I mean, don't ignore it. That's very, very crucial.
yeah, so definitely don't ignore, just having everything organized and being very situated, because it'll definitely make your workflow a lot more easier, and not only easier but also more efficient and more productive, and you'll most likely get more done as if you're able to get yourself situated and organized, because you know exactly where everything is. You know exactly what you have to do every single day. There's really no doubts. There's really no confusion, as to what's going on. Where are we? Where are we going? What's getting done today? What can, there's really no procrastination either, because it's not like you can postpone things for tomorrow or the next day, because those days are filled too. So if anything, I think at this point you can do something that I think I've heard this from a lot of people, but really fill up your schedule and really try to fill it up and stack it with a bunch of things, because that way, you're not able to procrastinate. You're not able to tell yourself tomorrow, because tomorrow you already have a bunch of stuff to get done as well. So there is no space, to postpone that one thing for tomorrow, because tomorrow's cluttered already. Tomorrow you have another set of things that has to get done. So it's not like you can just be postponing at your will. But if you don't have that calendar, of course, then it makes it a little bit more, you're more vulnerable to just be lazy and just telling yourself I'll do it tomorrow, because there's really no plan for tomorrow. So it's very easy to just throw it in there and like, who cares? But once you have a calendar, there's things that must be done tomorrow and the next day, then you're like, oh, I kind of have to do this today, because if I don't do it today, then I don't know when it's going to get done, because tomorrow there's other things to get done. So definitely organize yourself and situate yourself.
I've heard this. I know, you just reminded me of this. Basically, Luis is trying to say, book yourself a task, and somebody else calls you, can I do something tomorrow at 3 o'clock? Let me look at my calendar, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I booked myself that I need to call 5 people. I'm sorry, we can't do it. Can we do it 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock, I'm busy. And basically, this is how it's supposed to be done. That's very good, Luis. The list. We always finish with Develop Your Mindset podcast. We develop your mindset towards being efficient and doing more. So efficiency is very important. You have to develop your mindset towards efficiency. Basically, me being a man, I'm not that good being efficient. My wife and my mom, they're being women, they are a lot more efficient than me I can ever be. But I trained myself to be a pretty good, efficient person. That means when I'm in the kitchen, when I'm cooking the eggs, meanwhile I'm warming the bread and I'm doing the coffee and I'm keeping tab on everything. I'm not burning my bread, and so this is efficient. This is, you're working, finishing a lot more than one at a time. So it's very important. Develop your mindset on this. Men are not made. We don't have the mechanism up here to do this efficient thing, but we can train ourselves to be pretty good efficient and doing it more. Basically, don't just settle with 1 or maybe 2. You can push yourself 3 or 4 more things at a time. You can start and then finish them really good, and then while you're finishing one, you can bring in another one in. So keep yourself busy, develop your mindset on keeping yourself busy and doing more. And pretty much I'm done for this week.
Yeah, so definitely develop your mindset towards being more efficient and doing more, because that's really where you can use most of the things that you're learning in this podcast, because if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not trying to do more, if you're not trying to grow, if you're not trying to just be a better version of yourself, then pretty much everything we're telling you in these podcasts, it's pretty much unusable unless you're actually going after something, you're pursuing a purpose, and that's when you can apply pretty much everything that we're teaching you here, as far as like developing your mindset, because developing your mindset is really about you wanting more out of life, wanting more out of your team, wanting more out of your company, wanting more out of life, really. And so if you want that, you're gonna have to do things that perhaps are not very comfortable, perhaps you've never done before in your life, and everything's going to be new. And so really this podcast and everything that we teach you here is a form of assistance, a form of information, data, so that you're at least, at the very least, you're somewhat aware of what you can expect, so that you're able to prepare yourself ahead of time, and that way you're able to guarantee that you'll be able to stay the course and not fall off and not end up like going in a different direction as opposed to where you were originally targeting for. So definitely make sure you develop your mindset to be more efficient and to do more work. That way the more you do, the more the gain, and that's really what you're really after. So definitely it was great to have been in the podcast, and
Amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you. Remember, this was number 52 podcast. We've been doing this for a while, over a year now, and please let your friends, family, whoever's interested with this kind of development, your mindset stuff that we talk about from our company, Kabartsi, what we experience here, let them know to follow us and share the knowledge. And if you haven't subscribe, and we will be seeing you next week. And thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, so thank you very much again for watching, and we hope that you're liking the new studio, and that you're really enjoying the experience. Please let us know how you're liking it. Is there something that you would like us to change, or just let us know if you really like it, you think it's cool. Let us know in the comment section below. We would like to hear your opinion. And yeah, thank you very much for watching again. There's going to be links down below so you guys can learn more about us, everything from our social medias. Links are going to be down below so you guys can go and follow us, or subscribe and stuff like that. And so yeah, there's also going to be links to our personal channels where you can learn a little bit more about us. And yeah, I mean, and also, there's going to be a link to our website, kabartsi.com. That's really where we sell all of our jewelry, all the jewelry that we make here. And we're constantly adding new pieces to that website. So definitely, you want to be checking that out every single week, since pretty much every single week there's going to be something new in there and you don't want to miss it. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yep. And recently we just started the Etsy store, and please visit and let us know what you think about the store. If we can do something more, we always are open for any ideas. And we will be leaving links down below, like Luis said, to the books that we worked on. Luis wrote a bunch of books. When you guys have time, download, read, let us know what you think. And pretty much that's it. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.